What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Reality Kingdom, where we talk all things reality TV or
Aw.
whatever. Today, as you see, we are going to be ranking and rating and analyzing and talking about
Not
the
the
Big
big shit.
Brother Canada 10 cast. Yes, 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 yes. I am your host, Pharaoh. I'm here with my co-host, Lee. Lee, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm really ready to get in some of these players' ass. Not like that. Well, some maybe.
Oh,
Gino.
not bad.
Um, but yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about these players because they really been someone really just been pissing me off. So
Hmm.
I really want to get to it.
Yes. So, first, what we're going to do is we're just going to talk about the week, what's going on, very simple, lay out the week, and then we're going to get into the players and talk about each individual player and how their game is looking, and then we're going to rate them. So, first, at the beginning of this week, Marty wins the head of household. Congratulations. He makes a deal with Stephanie. He doesn't want to break that deal, even though she's one of the people he wants to target. He figures that he's probably just going to end up targeting Jay. He plans on nominating Jaycee Lynn as a pawn, so he noms Jay and Jaycee Lynn. The target is Jay. Jaycee Lynn wins veto. He needs to put somebody up, so he decides that he's going to renom Betty. He did not tell many people he was going to renom Betty, but we'll get into that later. So setting up by the end of this week, Betty and Jay are the final noms, and it's looking like Jay is probably going to go, and that's how the week has went, and that's where we're sitting at right now. All the details about how the house is looking is a little bit scrambly. We have the Savage Seven, but then we also have the Boys Alliance, and then we also have all of these other sub alliances within it. So we're going to get into the details when we talk about each individual person because each individual person is in something different. So now we could just hop right into the rankings and the ratings and the yes. So let's go.
Who's the first person?
So we're going alphabetically. So the first person we're going to talk about is Betty.
Ooh, Betty. You going first or you want me to go first?
Um, you can go first for Betty.
So here's my thing with Betty. Okay, so basically Betty, she is in the Man Dem alliance with Helena, Summer, and Miss Tanisha. And we love these four women together. It's the four women of color in the house. And they're just eating it up. You know what I mean? So we thought. That was before I realized that Betty is not the type of caliber as player as I, may have thought, maybe may have wanted. Um, so at the beginning of the week, she's like, oh, Marty said I'm safe, so I'm good. Like, oh, it's great. And she proceeds not to talk to anybody in the goddamn house. Betty has no alliances outside of Tanisha and Summer who are connected to Savage Seven and a bunch of the guys. Helena is doing her own thing and throwing Betty right up under the bus too. So then she gets nominated and she's mad at Kevin, of all people. Marty nominated her and she's mad at Kevin. She going off on Kyle. Like literally the only reason why she's staying this week is because Jay is such a bigger target than her. It's like, girl, what were you thinking? And like she is iconic. I love someone who's gonna tell them straight to their face, like, look, I don't want to talk to you because she did get into it with Kevin after being renominated. She was like, I don't want to talk to you. We're not cool. And I can respect that, but it's like, girl, do you want to win the game, baby? And for that, I mean, she's already being talked about being targeted next week, as early as next week. And her competition ability has been lackluster so far. So I imagine that she's probably going to go home soon, regardless. And for that, I have to give her, honestly, it's between a two and a three.
No. Do you want me to
It's
talk
between a
before you
two and a
decide?
three.
I'll talk and then
Yeah,
you
you
can
go.
decide
You
your
go.
final one. Um, I agree. I
She's so bad.
she's
Like,
she's so
I
bad.
had such high hopes for her, and it was just out the window. Like she cannot handle this game at all.
I think I think I'm gonna give Betty a two. Um,
Mm,
I'm gonna give Betty a
as she
two.
deserves.
I feel like with Betty, it is a lot of wrong that she's doing. I feel
Okay.
like Betty has little connections in general. She's in one alliance, and even in that alliance, she doesn't have, she's not doing what she needs to do. She's accusing Summer and Tanisha of stuff. It's like, come on, girl. When she gets nominated, she doesn't do anything positive to help her. Everything she did was kind of negative. It's like you're going off on people. You're kind of going
Someone had to
snappy at
tell her
people.
not to go off on Kevin because she wanted to so
See,
bad. Jess had to tell her not to go off on Kevin. Like,
I feel
it's a two.
like she was just doing a lot
Or
of the
it's a
wrong
two. I've already
things.
decided. She was also a two. I can't.
All
I
right,
can't.
a two it is. The animatronics of my heart. Listen, I just feel like she just hadn't done anything good. And if she started off at a five is okay, she's just normally socializing, she's normally this, she's normally that. She isn't socializing well, that already brought her down. She got put on the block. She didn't do anything good when she put on the block. A lot of the people in the house are now targeting her for next week, and we have to consider about her longevity in this game. And she has zero longevity in this game. She's looking like she's going to be going home pre-jury for sure. If there's somebody I had to pick who was going home pre-jury, I gotta pick her. And if that's the case, how can I get this girl anything above a two? In
And
my
that's
opinion.
considering. That's considering if jury is a jury of nine. If jury is a jury of seven, her ass damn sure not gonna be in motherfucking jury. Like she
Literally.
is going home pre-jury. It's over for her.
Literally.
I've lost all hope. And me, I'm someone I root for everybody black. You know what I mean? She's a little
Mm-hmm.
Ethiopian, Nubian queen. Love
Mm-hmm.
all of that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to this game, she is not doing. I don't see it for her. I do not see it for her at all. I feel so bad.
Okay. So I'll talk about Gino. And with Gino, first I'll talk about my rating. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna allow point fives. So you could do a 1 or 1.5.
Girls love a decibel.
Just point 0.5, not all the other decimals, but point 0.5. And the reason I'm saying this is because I want to give Gino a point 0.5. I think I'm going to give Gino a 6.5. So let me tell you why. I think Gino is in a phenomenal position. I think he's in literally probably the best position in the house or one of alongside someone else. I feel like Gino is naturally good socially. I think he's naturally good at making people like him and making people want to work with him. But the reason that I feel like I can't go any higher than a 6.5 is the fact that I feel like Gino is just a little bit less active when it comes to the strategy. It doesn't seem like he's the leader of the strategy or even trying to make himself be at the center of the house. It seems like he's just doing very, very little when it comes to his personal game. And so I just can't give him a 7 right now. But I feel like he's in such a 70 position and he's in doing 7 good things. But I feel like none of those things were just him actively going out to do it. But I still love his position. I still think he's good. He's working right now with the boys, and he was trying to encourage them to get Herman included in that, but that was after Marty done already did it too. So it's not like that was just him being at the forefront of that, but I think his position is helping that happen. So it's like he's doing very little things. He just got invited to the Savage Seven. He got invited to this Boys Alliance. He's naturally bonding with Kyle and Marty and them just because they're similar. So it's like he has all the right tools, but it's when is he going to start using those tools? So I think I'm going to have to give him 6.5. Lee, what you thinking?
I mean, I just think the 6.5 is extra when he is just obviously a six. I hate to say it. I just think
Why?
now, I want to give him a 10 for body alone because I
Hey,
remember saying on the cast assessment video that we did, like the body Adi for days. Like this man
what does got to do with his game?
is so fine.
What does got to
He's
do with his
so
game?
strong, sensitive, beautiful, mysterious. Just man,
Here
he
you
is the
go.
finest man I've ever seen in my life. Ever seen in my life. Ever seen in my life.
You know what's
But that's
funny?
not what we're here for. I feel like he's a six only because, like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you touched on some of the things. Like, he is in these good positions, but he's not putting himself in any of these positions. Like, for example, there's kind of this Marty group forming. It's Marty, Kyle, Gino, and Moose.
Mm-hmm.
And all of them are just telling him information. He's not offering any strategy of his own. He's not telling them information of his own. He's also in the Savage Six Alliance that Herman created. He's also in the Retreat Alliance, which would be Herman, Kyle, him, Stephanie, and Jaycee Lynn. He has
Mm-hmm.
connections with Summer and Tanisha. He even has connections with Kevin through Kyle. But like I said, like he isn't doing anything with these connections, and I feel like that could be an issue later on. Because he's not the one putting himself in his position when the game starts getting harder, is he going to be able to maintain his position? That's the
Mm-hmm.
real question. Now, I feel like he's doing the right thing mainly because he wants to work with Summer, and anyone who works with Summer is good in my book.
Bye.
But I do feel like he's definitely one of my highest scorers tonight, which is a 6, so it's kind of sad. But it's mainly because it's week 1. I want to see, we could easily get a Jess HOH, and Jess plans on targeting him.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see how this game solidifies a little bit more before I go even higher. But I
Mm-hmm.
do think he's a 6. However, I think he has potential of being, well, no. He has potential of being higher if
Uh-huh.
he shows that he is actively putting himself in this position. He can go
Uh-huh.
all the way from 2. And if I feel like he hasn't actively done any of that, he will remain a 6.
I agree.
Because being sexy, I mean, it's good in the bedroom. But on a ranking chart for Big Brother, I mean, I
Right.
don't see it for him.
Okay. Um, how do you feel? His average ends up being a 6.25. That's cute. Betty's average is a 2. How do you feel about Helena?
Okay, now Miss Helena, I'm side eyeing Miss Helena. I'm looking at Helena a bit sideways because, okay, so like I mentioned earlier, she is in the Man Dem Alliance. That is with Betty, Tanisha, and Summer. She threw all them bitches up under the bus at least once or twice. From it looks like her main loyalties in the game are going to be Jess, Kevin, and Marty. Her, Jess, and Kevin are all outsiders. They're not necessarily working together, like in a formed alliance, but they are working closely together and they're all pretty much playing the same game. Helena, her game is very much like planting seeds, watching it grow, and dipping away, which I have to stand. It does kind of give me messy queen, like Cassandra a little bit, but I'm side eyeing her because look, ain't no secret on this channel. I'm a Summer stan. And
Bye.
she got one or two more times when she speak on my sister Summer again. But in general, I think she's playing an amazing game. I think she's playing an amazing game. The
Mm-hmm.
guys, there's a core guy group that I mentioned: Gino, Marty, Kyle, Moose. They all trust Helena. They've
Mm-hmm.
talked about, oh, maybe we should kick Moose out and bring in Helena. Oh, I don't want to work with Summer Tanisha, who's in the Savage Seven. Let's work with Helena. So Helena has done a really, really good job of getting people to want her in. I mean, she's on the outside of any power structure or any power alliance in the game, and she's still set up to where no one is targeting her. There has been a few targets thrown out, and not one of them has been Helena. I
Mm-hmm.
think she for sure makes jury, and I have to give her. I want to give her a 6 as well,
Mm-hmm.
and only because of that. Because, like for example, I gave Gino a 6, even though he's in this such great position, he didn't put work into it. I feel like Helena has gotten herself to an okay position, and she's done all the work for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think Gino and Summer. I think not. I want to say Summer name so bad. I think Helena and Gino are probably the two safest people in the house right now. I
Mm-hmm.
think the difference is Helena put in the work to get where she's at.
Mm-hmm.
My fear for Helena is that she's not in the power structure. She's not in the power alliance.
Mm-hmm.
But the game is still shifting around. You know what I mean? If the next HOH goes her way, she could be quite literally running the house.
Yes.
So she has that potential. I see it for real.
Yes. I love Helena. I think Helena's game is my favorite so far because the way she uses her one-on-one connections to literally cause a series of events. Helena was one of the catalysts to Betty being renommed instead of Kevin.
Right, I forgot about that.
Yes, like Helena is actually planting seeds that actually grow. It's different from planting seeds and thinking you're doing something and you're not, and actually having connections one on one to the point where you're convincing someone to go tell people things and making them convince other people of the things you're thinking. It's crazy. Helena is the reason Summer and Tanisha are a target right now. If anything, Helena's the one who's throwing them under the bus and making them a target. I'm not sure if that's the best thing for her game, but I think in Helena's mind, it's better if Summer and Tanisha are a target than Kevin and Jess, who is her closest allies in her mind. You know what I'm saying? I really like the work she's doing. I like the fact that the boys alliance wants to work with her, and they really see her as someone they can trust. A lot of people see Helena as someone they can trust. Marty just, I want to say yesterday, told Helena about the boys working together.
Yeah, I
To
forgot
that
about that.
to that like, come on, Helena is that girl. The only downfall for her, not downfall, but the only dark side to Helena's game is the fact that she's not in the alliance. She's not in the core yet. They want her to be a part of it. She's not in it. You know, it's different from people wanting you to be in it and you actually being in it. Her position is just not good when it comes to the actual structure of the house. She's still on the outer layer. So even though she's doing all this good work, she's not in the group. And not being in the group is really, really bad in Big Brother, which is why I just feel like I can't give her anything higher than a 6.
Hmm.
So she's gonna get a 6 from me.
Queen deserves. Queen deserves.
It does.
I
Queen
really do
King.
love Helena a lot. I think she will be a great winner.
She
Great
would.
winner.
I love Helena. It's so early too, but whew, I
And
love
she's
her.
eating it.
Okay, Herman. How I feel about Herman is I love Herman. I think Herman is one of the more the players that I'm really looking out for. I think his social game is wonderful. He has one of the best social games in the house. He's actively different than other people, no shade, but he's actively making people like him and making people want to include him in things, and making people want to gravitate towards him. Uh, he isn't originally in the 4-person guys alliance. It's Gino, Marty, Kyle, and Moose. But they really are thinking about replacing Moose with Herman because of Herman's game, because of his social game, because of the comfort he gives people. He's somebody who isn't seen as anyone's like main target. He's one of the few people who isn't anyone's target because even at this point, Kyle and Gino might be nommed, you know, stuff like that. Herman is up there when it comes to not being a target, when it comes to being liked. He is in the 7-person Savage 7 Alliance, which I think might be his main core thing. And if they can win the next HOH, Herman is set. I think Herman is probably in a better position than a lot of these other people if the Savage 7 remains the center of the house. He has good
Hmm.
connections all around. He has a good connection with Stephanie. Has good connections with Summer and Tanisha. He's about to be invited into this guys thing. He is really, really well covered. And this is a lot of the things that he's actively doing. Him winning that first HOH put him in this good position, but he went for it. Um,
Hmm.
I want to give Herman a 7. I'm giving Herman a 7. I feel like he is one of the
Ooh.
people who is, yes, I feel like he actively is putting himself in a really good position. And all he needs is the next HOH to go his way, and he's set. I think he's set more than anybody else. Period.
Okay. And definitely with Herman, I feel like my score is definitely between a 6 and a 7. And here's why. So Herman, he did create the first majority alliance of the season. I feel like for a first HOH, you did really, really well. Usually, the first HOH, you got to set yourself up well. You create a majority alliance, and you run it from there. And he did do that. He created the Savage 7, which, if you don't know, it is himself, Herman, Josh, Kyle, Gino, Summer, Tanisha,
That's
and
7.
who else?
That was 7, wasn't it?
And Moose.
Oh, and Moose.
And Moose. But what has happened is in the second week, Marty has gotten power, and Marty has kind of created his own power structure of his own with Kyle and Gino. And he has been left out of that. Now, what Farrell has mentioned is the guys do want to bring Herman in, but there's a lot of hindrance in doing that. You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if he slips up and does one thing, he's probably out of that power structure. So I feel like going based off week 1, he definitely would be a 7, but seeing his position decline the way it did, and my issue with Herman is that he is not aware of that decline. The Savage 7 is over.
Mm-hmm.
The Savage 7 does not exist anymore. That is
Mm-hmm.
not an alliance. More than half of the people are not loyal to it anymore. The only people who are loyal to that alliance at that point is Herman, Summer, and Tanisha. Everyone else has their own things going on, and that's my
Mm-hmm.
fear. Now, he did have a conversation with Kyle where which was today, where they kind of reinforced, yeah, the Savage 7, let's get us to the end because that's what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
However, no one else is loyal to that. And I don't know I'm not sure how his path to the end is going to be because, like I said, his awareness is just not there.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe, like, if the lines are drawn in the sand, I do think Herman will be a better player because he'll see who his target is. I think right now he's just not able to kind of. It's a lot of mess. The
Yeah.
house is not solidified at all, and in his mind, he thinks he's basically running the house with his alliance. So for it, but he is in a good position. No one's looking at really targeting him. I don't think anyone's bold enough to put him up, if we're being honest. And for that, I'm also going to give him a 6. It's straight sixes. Like,
It's straight
I don't like
sixes.
it. I don't like it. That's too devilish for me. But I do like Herman a lot. I did not think I would like him this much. Like,
Me neither.
he's a king.
Me neither. I feel the same way. You can go ahead. You want to start with Jaycee Lynn?
Jaycee Lynn, best 2.0, jealous.
Bye.
So here's what I'm not
Goodbye.
okay. We're not gonna talk game for a minute. This is my problem with Jaycee Lynn.
Okay.
And all my Cino stands, y'all hear me. Summer and Gino were supposed to be together. That's what we
Mm-hmm.
all shipped. That's what we all wanted. It was in the cards. And here comes Jaycee Lynn just swooping in. And first of all, it's not fair because he's fine as hell. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like that should have been me
Mm-hmm.
or Summer.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that it's Jaycee Lynn really pisses me off.
Piss
Now
me
let's
off.
go to the game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate Jaycee Lynn. I actually pretty much like her a lot. I do think she is really self-interested. So Jaycee Lynn's kind of placed in the game right now. Her bestie is Stephanie. They're like a duo. I'm pretty sure final two at this point, and they think, emphasis on think, they're in
Mm-hmm.
an alliance with Gino, Moose, and Herman called the Retreat or the Singles Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the issue, I feel like, it's similar to Herman in the way that she is not aware that that alliance is not real. She is not aware that she is literally on the outside. She's basically an onion alliance with Kyle and Gino. And she's so unaware of that. She is now officially in a showmance with Kyle. They kissed today, and I wanted to K word myself,
Mm-hmm.
but I just that potential that she had, that game sense, that self interest. I feel like I just it's slipping away because at the end of the day, Gino not loyal to that woman. He is not. He would
Mm-hmm.
cut her. He would get her out. He gonna keep her around just for the kisses and cuddles, but he not loyal to that girl. And I
Mm-hmm.
do feel like she's more loyal to him. She's also more loyal to this alliance that literally is not real.
Mm-hmm.
I will say no one is really targeting her. Stephanie's a target over her. Becky's a target over her.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, at this point, even Summer and Tanisha, for some goddamn reason, is a target over her. But
Mm-hmm.
similar to Gino, she didn't put herself in that position. It's kind of just, I will say honestly, her connection to Gino. Like Summer
Mm-hmm.
said today, like she's basically not going to target Jason Lynn because of the connection to Gino. That because people think these alliances that he's in are loyal. Like everyone think like Summer, Tanisha, and Herman think he's loyal to the Savage Seven.
Mm-hmm.
JL, Jason Lynn, and Stephanie think he's loyal to the Retreat. No one's going to want to target him, and since she is now connected to him, they're not going to target her.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of stand that. Pop some puss for to stay in the game, girl. You
Bye.
do what you gotta do. So for that though, what did I give? Oh, I gave Betty a low score. That was a 2. I'm gonna give Jaycee Lynn a 5 because I
Okay.
do feel like there's talks about bringing her in, and I do think, like I said, Gino is one of the safest people in the house. If you are that closely related to the safest person in the house,
Mm-hmm.
I don't see her being targeted anytime soon, and I do think she's capable of winning competition. She just won this last veto, saved her motherfucking self like a queen. So I do feel like if she's able to get her
Mm-hmm.
footing later down in the season,
Mm-hmm.
she could really be a threat. You know what I mean? She is
Mm-hmm.
very self-interested. She do not want those boys there. She's expressed that several times. So I'm gonna settle on a 5. I think she's a 5.
I'm going to agree. I also give JC Lynn a 5. I agree with a lot of stuff you said. I feel like JC Lynn is one of the safer people who aren't in the core because of her connection to Gino, like you said. I feel like she could have been a target, and just that simple connection has removed that target from her. And that's really, really good for her because that can get her deep in the game and get her to a position where she's able to work some magic. I think her self interest will overcome any of the side things she's having with Gino and stuff. I do think JC Lynn can remain self-interested. I really like that. I think that she's active about the stuff she's doing. She is in an alliance, which is better than some of these other girls. She
Yeah.
even if it's fake. And she does have that good connection with Stephanie. That could get her on the block, but I don't think that's gonna get her to go home. There's so many people who's a target before her, and I just really can see Jaycee Lynn end up coming on top at the end of the day if the cards fall in her hand. The reason she's not any higher is because she's not in the core. She's not
Mm.
even in the sub core. She's barely even in the fake core. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, ooh. So she has work to do, but I think she could just fall into the right place. So with Jaycee Lynn, it's gonna be a 5. I think that fits her. She's giving 5.
Mm.
Um, now I'm gonna talk
And
about yes.
well, I was gonna say before we move forward, I think you made a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Like even her being in the fake alliance is good because, for example,
Mm-hmm.
there's like two main alliances right now: the Savage Seven and the Retreats Alliance. That's basically the boys plus Summer Tanisha on one end, and the boys plus Stacey Lynn and Jeff Stephanie on the other end.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like because these groups are there, yeah, everyone's talking about targeting each other, but you have an alliance. Like these are solidified, named alliances, and
Mm-hmm.
usually once someone is in a confirmed alliance, people aren't going to want to directly target them.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to win HOH, and you got to go after them. Like I think I can honestly say almost everyone in this game is working together. Like
Yeah,
a
literally.
lot of people, based on the allegiances they've made, cannot go after each other. So it's going to be really interesting. Like it's going to get really, really messy because a lot of people's targets are people in their own alliances.
Literally. Now to Jay. Woo,
Child, not Jay.
child. I don't know what's going on with Jay this week. Jay got in an argument with Kyle. Um, that argument was based off of a conversation they had earlier about Jay basically accusing Kyle of being in a guy's alliance.
He didn't accuse him. He said, "I know you're in a guy's life, and I'm
That's
trying to
an
get you out."
accusation because he doesn't actually know. Okay, Jay said,
They said,
I know you're in a guy's alliance. Kyle said, no, you don't. Jay was like, yes, I do. And so that basically conversation escalated to a bigger conversation later in the day when Jay is trying to, I guess, campaign to Kyle. I don't know
"Child,
what
I don't
that
know what that
was.
was."
I don't know what that was. And basically, Jay and Kyle get in an argument. Jay accuses Kyle of things. And he starts spreading that around the house. At the end of the day, Jay is making him themselves a bigger target. Jay was already a huge target. Jay was already the target to go home, and all Jay did was increase that target on themselves. And it's like, whoo, how you increase the target? And you was already the target. I don't know. Like Betty on a if Betty was nominated against anybody else, low key Betty would have ended up going home. But Jay is just so bad that their target has just amplified to the point where Jay is out of the door. Might as well give Jay a 0. But I won't. I'll give Jay a 1.
Okay.
It's just gonna have to be a 1.
Well, since we can do decimals, can we do 0.5?
We can do you can do 0.5 as long as it's not zeros like straight up a 0. I guess you could do a 0 because the way it's averaging as it works. So you could give a 0.
Okay, okay. I'm not gonna be that rude and give Jay a 0. I will say before I speak on Jay, I thought they had a really bright future in this game. I didn't think second evictee. Like this is crazy. Like Jay really just blew up their game, and it's crazy because the original replacement nominee for Jaycee Lynn would have been Kevin, but Kevin King, we'll get to that, talked his way out of it, and
Mm-hmm.
Betty became the renown. And that's the gag is Jay has a better chance to get Betty than they did against Kevin, and because they're just so crazy, they blew everything up. Like, and Farrell didn't want to say it, but I'll say it.
Say it.
Jay said that Kyle was making monkey noises at him. Now I know the girls want to jump down Kyle's throat for that, and I don't know. When the tapes were reviewed, I didn't get monkey noises. No one else got monkey noises for her, if we're being honest. And honestly, it was not mentioned on feed. So I'm pretty sure BB Canada talked to them and was like, hey, that wasn't no monkey. It's literally not been mentioned since then. You would think something like a serious allegation would have been mentioned again. People in Canada
Mhm.
shut that down. People in the US could never. But
Mhm.
Jay, you literally like the men are in power, and then you went to them and you were like,
I'm targeting y'all.
I'm talking to all of y'all, and now they're confused why they're going home. Baby, that's a one.
They were sitting
That's a
there. They
one.
were like, "Kyle, am I going home?" And Kyle was like, "Yeah, you're going home." They were like,
Yeah.
"Am I?" And Kyle was like, "Yeah." Like that was bad. Like that was really bad.
Because Kyle was like, you should have won that veto.
You're giving them a what?
I gave them a one.
All
It's a
right,
one. And then now they're walking around.
it's a
Look,
one.
if y'all haven't realized by now, I'm a Summer stan. They're walking around now talking about, I'm going to target Summer. I'm going to target Summer and Tanisha. I'm targeting Summer and Tanisha. Baby, Summer and Tanisha are not next to you. Betty is next to you. Drag Betty. What is dragging Summer, Tanisha?
And them is
What is
votes he could have got. If he could have got anybody vote, Summer was one of them. How you feel about Jessica? Child, because I'm
that?
done.
I like Jessica. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay,
I think Jessica's a fighter. Well, Jess, they like to be called Jess, so I'll try.
you're right.
Jess, I think Jess is a fighter in the game. I think they have not worked themselves in a better position because honestly, people just don't like them. They come off pretty abrasive in conversations, as you can see from the episodes a bit. People, when they're talking to Jess, are just they just get feel uncomfortable. They sometimes turn simple conversations into arguments for no reason at all. But
Mm-hmm.
they were able to stay safe this week, which I like. They went up to Marty and was like, "You are basically a dumbass if you put me up as a
Mm-hmm.
renom, and I'm going home on your HOH."
Mm-hmm.
And that worked with Marty. Marty listened to that, and they did not put Jess up for that. And I do think that shows good gameplay, but that's not going to work with everyone in that house. I think every single person, not even because they dislike Jess, but because it's an easy nom at this point, and they have done no work or have not been able to do any work to get themselves in a better position.
Mm-hmm.
I do respect them as a player because I know they're gonna fight, and I do feel like give them a mental comp. Jess could get HOH straight
Mm-hmm.
up, you know what I mean, and really flip some stuff around. But
Mm-hmm.
then what? You get out one of them, and then you be the target again. Jess does not have a future in this game. They would have to win every. They would have to hope that their three allies they have or them win every competition from now to final two to even get close to winning, and they still might not win because people don't like them. So I
Mm-hmm.
gotta give them a three. I
Okay.
don't. The future is very very dim. It's a very dim light,
That's fine.
and I wish him the best.
I agree with a lot of the things you said. I really like that Jess has a strategic side to them because a lot of people seem to not. Jess has
A
like
lot.
Jess has a not a people intuition, but they have like a survival intuition about them, and I like that. Like they were like, Marty finna nominate me. Marty told them, and they were like, you shouldn't do that. I like that. They know who they can mesh with. They have a good relationship with the two people they have a good relationship with. So it's like
Which
it's
is Helena and Kevin, by
which
the
is
way.
Helena and Kevin. And I think that's good for her because Helena and Kevin are people who are going to try to protect them to an
Hmm.
extent, but their longevity is just not there. How nobody like you?
I can say one thing about Jess. I don't think anyone has thrown Jess under the bus, but only because she lived under there anywhere.
They live under there. Um I'm gonna give them a 2.5. This is why these point fives come in handy. I just feel like 3 was just too much.
I can see that, but I feel like they deserve. I don't want to put them in the same level as Betty, because I think Betty is
Well,
just
Betty's a
trash. I
2.
think
And
Betty is
they're a 3 point
terrible.
and they're a 2.5.
If you can't, if Jess was in the position that Betty was in, I
Mm-hmm.
think they would be
A 2.5.
a six at least. Like Betty has a no. I think the position Betty is in the game,
Uh-huh.
she well now she's in the worst. Now she's in the worst position. Betty was in the position to where she could have really worked herself to at least a five or a
Mm-hmm.
six, and I think Jess could have.
Just couldn't
Betty
get in
has
that position is the issue. Just could never get
that's
in that
well,
position.
when that's the real God, I guess.
Um, let's talk about Josh. Who was
That's a
that?
down.
Okay, Josh. Let's talk about Josh. I'm gonna talk about Josh. Josh was my winner pick
Such a
preseason.
disappointment.
Josh was my winner pick preseason. he was giving very much so he was finna go in this game, be a strategic mastermind, be in the best position. He was gonna run things. He was gonna get people out. He was gonna have final twos. Josh is not doing anything. Josh is not doing anything. Josh might as well be at home. He might as well be in the hospital, being a doctor. What is he, a pediatrician? Work with the kids.
He might as well stay getting that degree
He
because
should have stayed getting that degree because the degree in Big Brother Canada 10 is not going to check. He's not going to get it. Josh is not doing a thing. How are you in the Savage 7? Josh is one of the main reasons the Savage 7 can't stay together because Josh is so disconnected from that group. No one in their mind can even fathom that group being real because Josh doesn't even talk to them. It's to the point where
idiot.
Kyle is like, I think I might nominate Josh because Josh don't even talk to me. Josh is not doing good at all. The only thing that his saving grace is the fact that he got invited into that first alliance, the Savage 7, because people might not want to nominate him because he's a part of it. Might. Josh should be on the same level as Jess, but just because Josh doesn't actively argue with people, I'll give Josh a 3.5.
You love a good decimal, child.
I love a good decimal.
So, and I'm gonna give Josh a 4. Only because I'm looking
Okay.
at the previous scores I gave. Jess is definitely a 3, and Jaycee Lynn is a 5. Like I do think Josh is in the middle of that. Like Josh has just been such a disappointment. I feel like he really talked big shit preseason, and he didn't go in there doing none of that. It's the fact that he literally was put in one of the best positions of the game, and he let it go away. He's in the Savage 7 that we've mentioned before. He doesn't talk to Herman. He doesn't talk to Moose. He doesn't talk to Kyle. He doesn't talk to Gino. He talks to Summer and Tanisha when they talk to him. All Josh does all day is talk to Jay and Betty,
The
both
nominees. The nominees.
both nominees. It's like, and now his name is getting thrown out there. It's really bad for him. People who are literally aligned with him, a named alliance, don't trust this man. And it's crazy. Even people who are like not even loyal to the 7-7 anymore don't trust him. No one wants to bring him into anything. The only people who really got his back is Betty after this week because Jay was his number one. That was the one he wanted to bring the phone to. And Jay is out. He has the same connections as Jess, but the thing is, he should have more. He should be at least a he should be at least a 6 in this game, maybe even a 7. He played his cards right. Just a really big disappointment. It doesn't seem like, honestly, I'm gonna be honest. It doesn't seem like he want to be there no more. That's how I get
It
it. It
don't.
gives I don't even want to be here. It gives he genuinely does not like them, so he can't talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like he does not like those people. It's giving
It's
very
bad
much
for
like
him. It's
I don't
very
want to be
bad for
here.
him.
Only reason why I gave him a 4/3 is because I gave Jess a 3, and Jess has damn near no connections. I do think he has more. For example, Herman is not putting him up. Someone or Tanisha is not putting him up. I don't think Gino putting him up. Kyle said he would, but I think Kyle's a pussy and wouldn't really do it if it came down to it. I don't think Gino would put him up. I don't think Jason like it's crazy because people are saying they don't really trust him. His name has been thrown as a target, but no one is really saying, "Oh, we're gonna target Josh." If
Mm-hmm.
Josh is nominated next to Betty next week, Betty likely goes. If he's nominated next to Jess next week, Jess likely goes. So
Mm-hmm.
he has a few outs, but he's gonna have to start working, and I don't think he's gonna do that. I think he's just gonna keep talking to Betty all day,
Mm-hmm.
and for that, I want to bring him down to a 3 for that, but I'll keep that a 4.
There is something in between 3 and 4, but I won't talk about it.
I'm not giving no point fives. I
Okay,
do not like the decimal rule.
Kevin. What's your thoughts on Kevin? What are your thoughts?
I okay. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of starting to like Kevin. I'm starting to
Ooh.
like Kevin because I really like a player that's like really really self interested, not loyal to anybody, gonna do what they can to get to the end. It's giving me very much Sarah Beth tease, and I know a lot of girls didn't like Sarah Beth either, so it makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. And I kind of like Sarah Beth because it's like like you have people in this game like no shade, my man Gino, no shade, my man Josh, who are doing nothing, don't really care to be there, seem like, and just chilling. And then you got Kevin who wants to be there, a huge fan of the game, want to win. You know what I mean? And he's fighting
Mm-hmm.
for it. I mean, he was going to be the renom this week. That was set in stone, and he talked his way out of it.
Mm-hmm.
he's doing this really good thing where he's making people in the house feel like they can use him. Summer and Tanisha see him as a number. That guys alliance of Kyle, Gino, and Marty see him as a number.
Mhm.
He has a close relationship with Helena, Jess, and I don't really see Josh targeting him.
Mhm.
He's gone up to he even had a conversation with Gino today trying to make him feel like, oh, I'm someone you can use, I'm someone you can mold. So I don't think he's gonna be going home anytime soon. I think like
Mhm.
honestly, someone like if he's next to Josh, Betty, Jess, he stays at this point.
Mhm.
It gets to go down to a certain point, he might stay next to Song and Tanisha, like all of them, because
Mhm.
so many people feel like Kevin is with us and we can use him.
Mhm.
The only thing with Kevin is just that, similar to Helena, he isn't in any real power structure yet,
Mhm.
and that's a problem. I do think, similar to Helena, that if he is able to get his footing later in the game, they could probably become more. I'm struggling with his score because I don't know if I want to give him a 5 or a 6. So I gave Helena a 6, but I'm not 100% sure he's in that comfortable a position as Helena.
Mhm.
I still see people being like, oh, I can nominate Kyle. I mean, not Kyle,
Kevin.
Kevin.
Mhm. I agree with.
I'll give him a 5.
You give him a
I'll give
5.
him a 5. That's
Interesting.
another good score for him. I do think he's a 5 because I do think he leans more on the Jaycee Lynn side of things than Helena, where I do think Helena, no matter how the tide turns, she'll still be in this kind of position where she can get to the end and win. Whereas like
Mhm.
Kevin, I think something can flip and he can go home. I think he's still someone easy to put up. He
Mhm.
talks to people, he makes people feel this way, but no one is looking at him as a real ally. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So I think that could be an issue.
I agree with a lot of the things you said. I feel like Kevin is doing so much good work, but I feel like his good work isn't solid enough like Helena's, I feel like with him it's more like he could still go on the wrong situation with the wrong HOH, the wrong veto. Kevin could still go. Um but I just like the fact that, like you said, he's so self-interested. He's done a lot of like just good groundwork at getting him to be valuable to people. People think he's
Exactly.
valuable for their game, and that's really, really, really good. And it's just so much more than a lot of the other people not in that solid group are doing. So it's getting him so much further. And the fact that people like Summer and Tanisha are being seen as people who might need to go, it really, really helps him when it comes to the whole structure of the house. Like the structure still isn't solid. Like we keep talking about the structure, but we keep mentioning Savage Seven, and then we keep mentioning this, and we keep saying, "Oh, the boys might bring in da 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 da," because the structure
That's what
is
it's
not
25.
solid. The structure won't be solid until the next HOH. I feel,
Maybe.
and
That's
if
a
Kev
maybe.
and maybe, and if Kevin wins the next HOH, they're gonna be like, okay, let's just make the alliance. Kevin, Helena, Kyle, and then Kevin's in
And
it.
then boom, he's probably a 7 after that.
And then he's probably a 7 after that, which is why with Kevin, I got to give Kevin a 5 too. I just feel like there's a lot of potential just because of the work he put in, and it just I think it's less likely for him to get in that position because the HOH has to be the perfect HOH, because Kyle HOH might not even get him that. It might need to be literally him, and then if it's literally him, then he's gonna be in a really good position.
Mm.
So I'm gonna give him a 5 too. It's time to talk about Kyle. I'll go first. Um, I'm
The Kyle Auntie child.
I
Kyle
wanna
Auntie.
I do wanna say I'm the Kyle anti. I will admit that. If there is any biases,
It's gonna be a
it's
lot with
gonna be
Kyle.
with Kyle. If there is any biases, it's gonna be with Kyle. I feel like Kyle. I have a lot of negative critiques, but let's talk about the positives. I think Kyle is in the best position in the house, one of, along with Gino. I think Kyle is very well insulated because he does have the Savage Seven who trust him. He does have the Singles Alliance who trust him. What's that one called?
The retreat.
The
And then
Retreat who trust him.
the
Um,
boys.
and then he has the boys who trust him. He has a final two with Helena. He has a final two with Kevin, I believe.
He has a good relationship with
He has
Jess.
he has a good he has a good
Almost
relationship with
everyone in this house
Jess.
trusts this man.
Kyle is very
They
much
trust him.
so centered. If you had to think of who's in the center, think of Kyle. Um, and Kyle is an active player. Kyle is actively trying to make these relationships. Just the other day, he was trying to tell somebody. Who was he trying to tell? It doesn't matter. But just today, he's trying to build his bonds. So if Kevin and Marty aren't friends yet, he's trying to make them friends. If Helena and whoever aren't friends, he's trying to make them friends. That's good because he's trying to center the game around the people who trust him the most. And Kyle's the only person in that position and doing that work. So I feel like Kyle is I hate to say it, I feel like Kyle is like a power player. The only negatives about Kyle's game is that Kyle seems reactive. Because the way that the Jay conversation that I talked about earlier rattled Kyle was a little bit different than the power players we see in general for Big Brother. But when we talk about Canada, the power players for Canada do that all the time. So, and we're in Canada. So for Kyle, it's giving he's doing what he needs to do. I love Kyle's position. I really do. I like his game. I think he's doing really, really well. And with that being said, I'm gonna have to give him a 5. No, I'm playing. I'm gonna have to give Kyle a 7.5.
Oh.
Final answer. I know.
5?
With the biases. So y'all know
You
that's
low-key
real.
like Paul more than me.
With the biases.
I'm only giving Paul a 7. I mean, Kyle a 7.
Not you comparing him to his counterpart.
Right. I give Kyle a 7 because, like I said, start with the positives, like you said. I do think, like I said, he's in the best position in the house, like more than anyone there. And I do feel like literally no one in the house is going to target him minus Betty. Betty's the only person who said, I'm probably going to put Kyle up. That's a pretty good thing. Everyone feels like they can work with him to some extent. I think my only problem with Kyle is that he's a thinker. He thinks a lot. You know what I mean? There's a lot going on up there at all times. And my thing is, if you're thinking like this in week 2, how you going to be like in week 5, week 6? How you going to be if you get nominated? Also, I think another negative is that he is not solidifying anything. He doesn't want to be part of the Savage 7, but he hasn't solidified anything, a group against that. All he has is the boys. And their end goal plan is to just win the comp. You know what I mean? The thing about Kyle is I do think he's in a situation to where even without all of that, he'll still be good, which is why I think he still gets the 7 instead of like a 6, like a Gino maybe. But it's like he's going to have to start actively solidifying his group. I think this season is all over the place. He is not working with the typical Big Brother players in general. I think this is a very, very messy season. He's dealing with a lot of messy players. Like, for example, he wants to drop Savage 7 for basically the bros, which would be Marty, Gino, and maybe Herman now, and work more closely with Jess, Kevin, and Helena, and maybe Jaycee Lynn and Stephanie. And none of those people are going to take his ass to the end. I hope he realizes that, right? Like, and if he goes with that group, both Marty and Gino has better connections than him, I feel. And I don't think that's necessarily best him. I think his goal is, I think we just have to see how this house solidifies and how erratic he goes moving forward. Because I do feel like all of this good position that he's in could come from under him very, very quickly. Very quickly. But right now, like I said, he is the best player in the game. I do think if he can keep this up, he will be probably the best winner of BB Canada. Because I do think the gameplay already is pretty good. Like, it's on a level that I feel like most Canadian players never get to. So I'll definitely give him that.
As a Kyle anti, you making me want to bring his score down, girl.
I was shook with that 0.5. Honestly, I don't think he deserves it. That's way too close to an 8.
You making me. It's so close to the 8. It's so close to 8. My thing was, I was like,
that was shocking to me.
Listen. I gave Herman a 7, so I was like, damn. But I kind of just offered. I had a Herman bias. I know. So this is what I'm gonna
do. You messed yourself up.
Y'all finna be mad at me. Herman gotta be a 6.5 because Kyle gotta be a 7. Thoughts?
Y'all.
Final answer.
Extra, and he wanted to put a decimal point.
Final answer.
And he messed up the chart.
Herman got to be a 6.5. It's okay. They change it all the time. And Kyle is a 7. And Kyle is a 7 because, Lee brought to my attention, which I forgot a little bit about, the fact that he wants his group to be this ragtag group of 7 who are all very, very self-interested, down to Jaycee Lynn. They're all very self-interested. Kevin is
Jason would
self-interested.
choose Gino of him in a heartbeat, like, and Stephanie.
Helena is
Jason would
self-interested.
choose. Everyone would choose someone else over him.
Mm-hmm.
Jess, Kevin, and Helena are all more loyal to Marty than him, and
Mm-hmm.
Jason and Stephanie are more loyal to Gino than him.
Mm-hmm. And I think Kyle not wanting to stick with the Savage Seven is just making his game harder. I think honestly, if he wanted it to just be easy, he should have just kept this as a side alliance, this Helena Jess situation, and his core should have been Savage Seven because that's how you stay in the center of the house. I think he's kind of trying to be icky because even Gino is kind of like, I mean, Gino's less gung ho about not being with Summer and not being with Tanisha. Like, I don't think Gino is really as much, invested in this guy's thing as Kyle is. I think Gino's a part of it. I think Gino's gonna go with it. But I think Kyle's the main one, like, ooh, let's go over here, let's go over here. And it's like, why? Summer, Tanisha, and Herman haven't shown any type of disloyalty. So I feel like
We gonna get to that when we get
so I feel like Kyle should have just. I think Kyle is making it harder for himself, and I think you're right that Kyle could be just leaning towards a path where it's like he's going with a bunch of people who aren't his people. Jaycee Lynn is not his. Kevin's not even his. Helena's not even his. Helena and Marty have a better relationship than him and Helena. You know what I'm
Oh, I
saying?
saw him too. That he knows about. So I don't know why he's so loyal to these people that he knows that it doesn't make any sense. Like,
I don't know.
honestly,
It's
like,
interesting that he wants to go with JC, Kevin, Jess. You see what's in common about these people, and he doesn't want to work with.
very, very quite interesting.
I
Quite
think there's a
interesting.
commonality.
A common denominator.
Yeah.
But like, honestly, I say this all the time.
Mm.
I just feel like to be a good Big Brother player, you need to keep all your options open. There's no point in dropping people who you have a named alliance with. None of them are speaking about being disloyal to you, but for some reason you see them as disloyal, so you have to just drop them like that. Oh, now we're moving on with Jason and Stephanie, and it's stupid. It's stupid. And he gonna find him. Oh, he's talking about now. If he wins HOH, he may put up Josh. You know, people gonna look at you crazy if you put up Josh. Are you even thinking? But that's the thing.
Not
A
are you
lot
even
of
thinking?
people, and that's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Marty, Gino,
Mm-hmm.
and Kyle, they
Mm-hmm.
want to be the pretty boys so goddamn bad, but they're not doing it right. To have onion alliances, which will
Mm-hmm.
kind of be their alliance with the Savage Seven, the Retreat, and then the Outsiders. They are in three pots right now.
Mm-hmm.
You have to turn them against each other.
Mm-hmm.
They are not actively doing that.
Mm-hmm.
None of them are actively just targeting each other.
Mm-hmm.
And now you can't win HOH because if you do, you're going to have to pick a side. And that puts you in a bad position. The plan should be get all of them, all of your onion alliances to target each other so you can just sit in the middle. Now, if Gino wins, who he gonna put up? He's along
Mm-hmm.
with everybody. Who is Marty gonna put up? He's along with damn near everybody. Kyle for sure is along with everybody. The thing, Kyle's talking about winning HOH. If Kyle wins HOH, he can't technically put up anyone because he's technically aligned to everyone but Betty. What is he gonna do? And then you can say, "Oh, I can put up Josh. One of them win veto." Then who you putting up? Some more Tanisha? You lost Herman probably.
Mm-hmm.
You make a lot of people gonna look at you like you crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So he got a tough road ahead of him. He gonna have to really, really. That's why I'm saying he can't be an 8 yet because he ain't playing at that level. He ain't playing
Mm-hmm.
at that level.
Mm-hmm. 7 it is. Marty. You want to go?
I can start with Marty.
Okay.
So Mr. Marty, it's giving me Frenchie tease. Which is so interesting because Frenchie's name was Frenchie, and then Marty speaks French. I don't know. The main character
Bye.
makes me love it. I'm actually shook. At the beginning of this week, when he first came HOH, and he basically wanted to do everything the Majority Alliance was doing, I was like, "Oh, Marty is going to go home next." This is giving me very much Ryan Quicksell vibes from BB Can 6. He does what the majority wants, get out his closest ally, and then goes, well, he makes it the jury, but no one likes him all the way up until the end, and had no chance of winning. But Marty has now kind of worked himself into a power position. He is aligned closely with Helena, Jess, and Kevin. He's aligned closely with Gino, Kyle, Moose, and Herman, and Summer and Tanisha. None of these people are actively targeting him. The only people who he probably would get nominated by at this point would be Jaycee Lynn and Stephanie. And that's because his dumbass wanted to put up Stephanie and made a deal with her and then told everybody in the house, including Stephanie, that he still wanted to put her up and want her out. The man is crazy. You have one conversation with him, he gonna tell you all your tea. Like we talked earlier, he told Helena how he's in the guys alliance with but his loyal to Helena, that's his real phone too. He told the guys that he has a phone too with Helena, but he's more loyal to them. He tells Summer and Tanisha he loyal to them, but talking about getting them out behind their back as well. The man is all over the place, but also in the right place at the right time. I think he's probably one of the only people who is targeting the right person. He wants to go after Moose. He said if he wins, he's gonna go after Moose, and I do feel like that's a good move, honestly, for him because no one liking Moose anymore. We'll get into that. I do feel like unless he wins more HOHs and piss people off, he's going to be really, really long for this game. I think Marty has used this HOH pretty well, shockingly so. I think he's gotten into a position where I don't really see him being targeted or being sent home at this point. He would have to be right next to the right person, you know what I mean, to really get sent home. And I don't see that happening. So for that, however, like I said, back to the awareness. I docked points for Herman for this. I have to do with Marty. I don't think he's 100% aware. Right now, he's in a position to where he doesn't have to be aware, kind of like Gino. Like everyone's coming to him anyway. But if it gets to a point where this power structure that they're trying to form is not even solidified yet, if it doesn't solidify, he can find himself in a bad position. So I'm gonna go for the 6. I don't think he's a 5. I'm gonna go for the 6. But it's a very much like side eye 6. Like it could definitely go down to a 5, maybe a 5.5 if we're counting Pharaoh's rules. Who knows?
This is my thing with Marty. I think Marty. I don't want to knock the man. The man is doing a lot of good work. He has a good relationship with Kyle and Gino. He has a good relationship with the outsiders. He has good relationships with Summer Tanisha. He's doing really good with his relationships. He's doing really good. I just feel like he has so many like bad tendencies. He told 2 people, 3 people who he was renomming. That's not ever good. He talks too much.
Remember that. That was stupid. Oh, God.
He talks too much. He just tells everyone his information. Like you said, he's telling Helena he's with them. He's telling them he's with Helena. I just don't see a promise in him. And I hate to say it. I feel like the reason he's in his position is sisters by chance, friends by choice. I feel like it was by chance. I just feel like, for example, in my mind, I'm thinking of a typical Big Brother season. Typically, Marty is the side alliance. Kyle and Gino are in the main alliance. The only reason it changed, I feel, has nothing to do with Marty. I don't think Marty convinced them to go away from their Savage 7. I don't think Marty made them. I think Marty, by chance, ended up in a season where the chips fell to where he accidentally is now the main alliance. And for that, I feel like it's risky because he was not in the 7. And the 7 is typically Big Brother, the core. And even in Big Brother Canada. That 7 would have been the core, even in Big Brother Canada. It's only by the hoopla of Kyle that he's now the main.
I see what you're saying, but he won the comp. You know what I mean? Like he broke, and then like
he did win the comp.
I think I would pinpoint the reason coming down to him winning the HOH.
Okay,
and he won it. So I feel like I had to give him points.
I feel like I don't even think. In a normal situation, I'm not saying Kyle's only working with Marty because of arbitrary reasons, but I still feel like even in most normal situations, Marty winning that second HOH isn't enough because her mom won the first one, and they don't want to work with him.
Well, that's also quite interesting.
It is. So I'm gonna give him a 5.5. I still think everything is great. I just feel like a part of it isn't because of something he did. Like, yes, him winning the comp, yes, that is really, really good. And I do think that does help, which is why I'm not going to give him a 4 or 3. But I feel like usually it's a strategic move that is convincing Kyle and Gino to want to work with him other than him winning the comp. It's not like they see Marty as, they do say they're all going to win all the comps. I will say that. But I don't think that's a logical, I don't know.
That's hilarious to say.
I don't know.
There's been 4. The fact that your plans moving forward is based on winning the competition when there's been 4 different competitions and 4 different winners, 2 men, two women. These
Mm-hmm.
comps are way too even to be saying, yeah, we're just gonna keep winning.
Yeah.
Winning what?
And I feel like them choosing Marty because he's gonna win all the comps makes no sense because Herman won the first comp. Y'all could have did this with Herman. And y'all are struggling to decide if he's in it, which is why it's hard for me to say Marty's reason is for winning the comp or for anything Marty did, other than the fact that Kyle may just relate more to Marty, specifically Kyle, because Kyle's the one kind of choosing this.
So I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
That's all I got. But he's not low. He's still doing great.
It's more power to it's more power to Kyle for the position
That Marty is in. If Kyle decided to stick with the Savage Seven, like most people in Kyle's position probably would have, this wouldn't have happened. And that's not on Marty. Like it did happen, which is why I'm not gonna give him a low point for that. But he's still 5.5. He was gonna be a 5.5 whether he got himself in this position or not. So I didn't change his score based on that, but that's just an observation I have about his game in the future. You know what I'm saying? 5.5.
It's understandable.
Moose, girl, Moose, child.
Child. You want to go first? Or you want me to?
Go first. I'll go real quick because I don't got much to say. Moose is doing the most, and it's literally to the point where if he would have just shut up, he would have been so good. But he wanted to keep talking and doing and blopping and booping. He's having so much fun, and I'm happy for him. He's having a lot of fun. I'm happy for him. But it's to the point where people are like, Moose can go. Moose can should go. Moose can should go. His allies want him gone. People he don't even know don't like him. Don't like him. He think Helena his best friend. Helena don't like that man.
She's targeting him. She's literally
targeting him. Moose is like not doing good at all, and I think it's just gonna go on a downward spiral. I don't see Moose getting better in terms of let me calm down. I don't see him calming down. I see him gonna continue to try to do what he's doing, and people are just gonna get him out. I don't see him even making jury right now. He's still in a good position just because, but it's not even that good because a lot of his allies would just allow him to go. They'll just allow him to go. They'll be like,
a lot of people, if he's next to the right person, his ass is getting voted out.
His ass is grass. I'm gonna give Moose a 4.5, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, Moose is kind of crazy, and it's crazy because Moose was in such a good position. He's in the Savage Seven. He's in the original Bros Alliance that doesn't have Herman in it because it's originally Marty, Gino, Moose, and Kyle. Mm-hmm. He's in the he's not in the Singles Alliance, which is actually pretty interesting. But he had originally had good relationships with everyone in the house. He somehow ruined out Helena. Helena and Jess are now targeting Moose. Stephanie and Jaycee Lynn are targeting, not really targeting Moose, but they're seeing what Moose is doing. The boys are literally wanting to replace him with Herman. Mm-hmm. I think the only people who are not necessarily actively talking about not trusting Moose is Summer and Tanisha. My baby, my girl's in the clouds. But he's just so chaotic. Like, he is chaotic. Like, earlier he wanted to target Herman. Now he's talking about Summer targeting Tanisha. Then he said he wanted to target Jess again. He went to Kyle and was like, let's target Herman. No, he went to Herman, so let's target Gino. Then he went to Gino, so let's target Herman. Mm-hmm. The man's all over the place. And the thing is, the worst thing about it is that everyone sees right through him. Mm-hmm. It's to the point where everyone's like, what is this boy doing? I don't think he's going to last pretty much longer in this game. He's really he's ticking down the more it goes. And so, honestly, I have to give him a 4 for that. It's crazy because he is in such a good position, but he's still playing at a 4 level because what the hell is this? Like I said, he's also no one's main priority. That's a big issue in this game. Like a really big issue in this game. He's no one's main priority. And the only group, he doesn't even want to be loyal to Savage 7. Mm-hmm. So that's not even a group for him. The only group that he's claiming loyal to is the bros, Gino, Kyle, and Marty, and they don't even like him. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely a 4. Like you say, I don't see him touching jury. Too many people dislike him. And everyone, like for example, if he's next to Betty can still stay. The only person probably can stay against at this point is Betty, maybe Josh. Mm-hmm. But at this point, it's like if he next to anybody else, he gone. Too many people want other people there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a no for me. I don't know what he's doing. I can't even get into it. He's having fun, and I love that for him. You know who else is having fun? Stephanie. I like Stephanie though. I like her to a very small extent. I think she has ABC. options in this game. I think her options are very limited. I think she is not in a good position. Jaycee Lynn is in a much better position than Stephanie, and that's like kind of her
But
counterpart in this game. Stephanie has like just such a little light left. I feel like she's one of the people who, you know how the outsiders are kind of getting connected to some of these people. She's not, and that's not okay. I feel like when it comes down to it, Betty, Josh, and Stephanie are kind of about what and what when it comes to who might end up going home,
yeah.
and it's just not a lot for her. And I don't see her doing much to improve that. She's talking about who she
Mm-mm.
wants to target. That's good. She kissed Herman. That's good. Um, what now? What now?
You broke up a bit.
No,
What now?
it's just what now? I'm just gonna have to. I don't even know what I'm gonna give Stephanie. I'm gonna have to give Stephanie. Uh, I feel like she has common sense. I'm gonna have to give
Yes,
Stephanie a
she.
3.
Mm.
I'm gonna have to give Stephanie a 3 because she's in that one alliance. What is it called? The singles alliance,
And that's it. The retreat. Yep.
and that's not real. And they want to drag her along, but they want to drag Jaycee Lynn more along than her. She's very, very
Girl, Gino
expendable.
said she can go.
She's very expendable. She's very expendable. She could easily go home next week. It's a 3. I'm sorry, not me checking the table.
Yeah, it's also a three for me. It's Stephanie, and I had now a lot of girls gonna get mad about this one, but I had pretty high hopes for Stephanie. I
See.
didn't think that she was gonna come in and be the dud that everyone saw, but child, I see it, and I am so sorry. It's just I don't because we didn't have feet first week, so I don't know what got Stephanie in this position, but I do know why she's in it. She don't talk to nobody. The only time I see her on feeds is trying to flirt with Gino. Baby, Gino don't want you.
You know, don't want
Gino
you.
does not want you, baby. He has made it pretty damn obvious, girl.
She sat there
Like,
following him
she looks so
around.
thirsty on the damn feeds. But one thing I will say about Stephanie
Hmm.
is that it seems like she has the right idea of getting in a good position. You know, today she was cuddling with Kyle.
Hmm.
Yesterday she kissed her mom.
Hmm.
She stayed trying to flirt with Gino. So she's definitely trying to, pop a little puss to stay in the house.
Hmm.
I do think if she's next to a Jess, maybe she stays. Next to a Betty, maybe she stays. And she
Hmm.
could potentially get some sort of footing. But she's a three because, like you said, she's in an alliance that's not real. No one really likes her. She's going to be an easy nominee.
Hmm.
It's just she would really have to just beast out some comps. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? To go up in my book. But for now, it's a three, and it's gonna remain one.
and it's gonna remain one. Um, you could. It's we on your girl, so we could talk about your girl now. Material girl. She wants to know nine boots.
Queen Summer Sales. I like to say Summer say less because you don't need to say more. Okay. Summer
Bye.
is one of the most iconic Big Brother players of all times. U.S., Canada, hell, Mexico, Nigeria, Australia, UK, celebrity over the
Okay.
top. I love Summer. Summer is like she is just she's just this warm ball of energy. Now, my sister, she having some bad times
Right.
because for some reason the house has grouped her with Tanisha as a pair, a very threatening duo who are
Are
apparently
you
is
saying
trying to
they don't
set
hang
them up.
out?
They hang out as normally as everyone else in the goddamn house. Stephanie and Jaycee Lynn hang out way more than them, but we're going to continue. And now the pair, now that's the thing. I could play devil's advocate. When I said, oh, they're a pair, I was like, I mean, they kind of are, so it's fine. But then
Oh.
Herman, Tanisha, and Summer started getting grouped as a trio. Now, can someone please tell me the common denominator with those three people?
It's been we done talk about common
Exactly.
denominators a good 4 or 5 times during this.
There's a lot of common denominators, a lot of
Hmm.
math today, decimals and everything.
Hmm.
Sure. So one issue, my thing is with Summer is no, okay, but I really, really love Summer. I feel like she is in a okay position, almost damn near decent. Summer has good connections in the house, so I'll just start with her connections. So she obviously has the Man Dem alliance. Helena has thrown her under the bus, but Helena hasn't actively tried to target her. Some of the words Helena has said has gotten the target on her back, but it wasn't like it wasn't like purposeful. And Helena has not mentioned targeting her. Kevin has made her think that he's a number for her, but he has also thrown her under the bus to try to get a target off his back. Not necessarily directly. I don't think Kevin would nominate her,
Mm-hmm.
but he has also thrown her under the bus. Betty would not target her. Betty likes her. Josh likes her, would not target her. Gino likes her, will not target her. Herman likes her. He blows to the Savage Seven. He's not going to target her. The issue comes with Kyle,
Mm-hmm.
Marty,
Always Kyle.
Stephanie, and Jaycee Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
Those four. Because Kyle feels like it's
Feels.
weird. He feels like that Summer and Tanisha are a big threat in the game. And the issue with and because of that, their names are getting thrown out there. I don't think there's anyone immediate target. Moose mentioned putting them up directly, but like I said, he retracted that from very quickly. There was a conversation with Herman today because, like I said, the thought process is we're gonna push out Moose, bring in Herman. And in that conversation Kyle had with Herman let him know Tanisha and Summer are good. We're all loyal to the Savage Seven. So I do feel like because Summer is so deeply connected in so many situations, she won't be actively talking. Because who's going to put her up? I
Mm-hmm.
think the only people who might put her up is maybe Stephanie,
Mm-hmm.
maybe Jaycee Lynn. But Jaycee Lynn is also in the Honey Bunch alliance that we saw in the first episode,
Mm-hmm.
and she mentioned this week on feeds that that's something she wants to use. She feels like she can still use Summer and
Mm-hmm.
Josh. So it's weird. She's in a really, really weird situation. The good thing about it is that, like I said, she's someone who's really good at reiterating her bonds. Like this girl, every time the feeds notification comes on, Summer is talking to someone different. That's
Mm-hmm.
why I don't get why she's so grouped. Well, I know why she's so grouped with Herman and Tanisha, but I don't get why she's so grouped with them because she's literally talking to everyone almost every time. And I think for that reason, when you want somebody face like that, they're not gonna be like, I'm gonna put this girl up because I do feel like if Summer goes up, a lot of shit gonna happen because a lot of shit gonna come out. There's a
Mm-hmm.
whole alliance that y'all are actively inside targeting. So we're
Mm-hmm.
definitely gonna see. I have to settle on a 5 for Miss Summer.
Mm.
I was hoping her first score would be a 7, an 8, and she would be if Kyle wasn't so all over the place. But let's be clear. If the
Mm-hmm.
house solidifies in a certain way, if the right person gets HOH,
Mm-hmm.
she definitely moves up because she's probably in a power position. It just
Mm-hmm.
depends. I'm praying for my sister, but she is a 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had to, and this is why I like decimals because I think Summer and Tanisha's experience right now in the house is similar, but Summer's social game is just so phenomenal that
Right?
I feel like every situation Summer's not gonna go home. I don't see Summer going home. I could see Summer, like you said, if the right person wins HOH, she's good, and I just really, really, I just like,
That's the
I
goal
have a lot
for
of
her
hope.
at any situation.
I have a lot of hope for Summer. She has such good connections, especially like one-on-one connections. Even Marty likes her. They like her. They just don't know if they want to target her or not. They're like maybe her and Tanisha. But I could see even if they decide to make that jump, they get out Tanisha. I don't see Summer just going right after.
Good. She's gonna be so good after
I
that,
can think
unless
Summer's
she's
gonna be
working
good
really
after
hard
that.
at that. But we'll see.
It just sucks that this target is coming out of not something she did, but
Thin air.
thin air. Um, So I'm gonna give her a 5.5, and I like the decimal because I'm just gonna hop right into Tanisha. Tanisha is in a good position on paper. On paper,
And
she's in the Savage
that
Seven. She's
paper.
also in the man. What's called the Man Dem Alliance.
Man, damn.
She has good bonds around the house on paper. People like her on paper, but in reality, there are people targeting her. The same amount of people targeting Summer basically are targeting Tanisha. But what Tanisha is, her problem is she's actually probably gonna go home. She's actually probably going to get bite the dust with this whole random thing with them and the trio with Herman. Tanisha is the weakest of them all. They were even talking about, oh, maybe we need to split up Herman and Tanisha and them, but they were specifically talking about getting out Tanisha to do that. So it's like I just feel like her position is just so much weaker. But if the right person wins HOH, it's good. And she's doing a lot of the right things. She has the right structure in her hands. She just, by
For some
chance,
reason.
for some reason, I don't know what the reason is, but for some
Is that the
reason,
timing?
she's for some reason she has lost the trust of specifically Kyle. I don't know what could have made him lose the trust in her.
Mm-mm.
She talks
Like,
to him. She does talk to Kyle. So I don't know what it could be.
I have no idea.
I'm gonna give her a 5, and it's a 5 because I feel like if the right person wins, she still can be in a really good position. I think she's doing all the right things. I don't think she's done much to mess up her position, and I think she even knows that she might have to target the guys. Her and Summer have talked about that, so I feel like Tanisha is in the right mindset and in the right position on the right day, but stuff has to go right for her to actually succeed in this game. That's why it's a 5.
And see, and see, maybe you spilled about the decimals because going in, I was ready to give Summer Tanisha the same score, but honestly, like
Summer deserves a better score than
Tanisha,
her.
yeah, and Tanisha probably definitely goes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Before her, so I'm gonna go with a 4.5 over Tanisha.
We got him on the last one, boys. We got him on
So
the
I,
last one.
so I do love Tanisha a lot. Honestly, like y'all know from the Castle 7 video, Pharaoh picked Tanisha early as hell, and I was like Tanisha
Yeah, that was
because I
crazy.
did not see it for her. And then the feeds came on, and then it was like, oh, Tanisha's in one of the best positions. Like
Mm-hmm.
if the Savage 7 stayed the power structure of the game, Tanisha would probably be a 7 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even an 8 because she is playing really, really well. She's aware that she can't go to the end with the boys. She's just not aware that Kyle is being crazy, which I'm not gonna fault her too much for it because not too many people know that. It's not the
Mm-hmm.
obvious thing. I mean, when they mentioned the alliance, she said he's still in it. What else is she supposed to glean from that? You know what I mean? She was
Mm-hmm.
safe this week. You know, there's not much to question. Everything
Mm-hmm.
happened the way it was supposed to. So it just sucks because she is being grouped in this situation with Herman and Summer. And let me get into this real quick because I don't want to put no labels on any house guest in this season. I do think this is a really good season, a beautiful, diverse cast, one of the best casts I've ever seen. But it's just these implicit biases, and that's why
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to label people because I think a lot of people their implicit bias they don't know. That's why it's implicit. That's literally what the word implicit means. It's not
Mm-hmm.
something they know is happening.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that Summer and Tanisha can have check-ins every once in a while and they're seen as the biggest unpredictable threat in the game, but you have Jaycee Lynn and Stephanie who don't talk to anyone but Gino and themselves and they're not seen as a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Herman and his trio, but Gino and his trio isn't a problem. That's
Mm-hmm.
confusing to me. That
Mm-hmm.
doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry, someone make that make sense in my head because I can't fathom that. Because if the like I said, it's the same thing for Summer Tanisha. If the Savage Seven was the power structure, both of them will be in great positions right now. For some reason, Herman and them two have been shut out of it. Just yesterday, Betty, Tanisha, and Summer were in the Expedia room just chilling, talking, shooting the shit. It was either Marty or Kyle, but definitely Herman walked in. They saw him talking. They left, and they was like, "Oh, them three being in the room together. That's a problem. Why is that a problem? They're
Why is that a
talking.
problem?
They're socializing. There's 15 people in this house. Why can't they talk separately in the room? It pisses me off because this isn't something that just this just happened. This is a coincidence. If it was such a coincidence, why did it literally happen in Big Brother 22 with Davon and Bailey?
Uh-oh.
Davon and Bailey are seen as this big scary duo. Nicole and Danny are friends outside of the game. Cody and Enzo are sucking each other dick all day. So why is Bailey and Davon, and now in this situation, Summer and Tanisha, the biggest threats of the game? They haven't won anything. You know they're not running anything. So how are they the why are they the chosen ones to be shut out of the alliance? That really, really pisses me off. And like I said, I'm not gonna label anyone because I do think it's implicit,
Mm-hmm.
but you cannot lie and say that it's not very interesting that the new and I'm not gonna put Gino in this because Gino's a good man. You know, today Gino talked about targeting Stephanie and he shut down targeting Summer last night. That's
Mm-hmm.
a man. That's a man. He should get a point just for that. But it's interesting that a certain someone now wants the power structure to be him,
Mm-hmm.
Kyle,
Mm-hmm.
Gino,
Mm-hmm.
Jaycee Lynn,
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie,
Mm-hmm.
with Jess, Kevin, and
Helena
Helena.
on the outside.
Now there's a common denominator there. We don't have to mention it. I'm pretty sure you heard
Mm-hmm.
it. Now I know the girls are gonna jump down my throat. Well, Helena's right there. Helena's right there. Oh, you mean the girl who said she literally
Oop.
wanted to be a different race.
Mm,
Okay,
it's just
but
weird because that's every single person who isn't the opposite.
people of black descent. And like I said, I'm not putting any labels out there because I don't think anyone's racist. I'll say that right now. I don't think anyone is racist. I don't think anyone's ignorant in the situation. It's just implicit.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing we can do about that. It sucks. It really
Mm-hmm.
does suck. But Tanisha Summer nor Herman deserve it. Like the thing is, I ain't got no smoke for people wanting to target Josh and Betty. Because as y'all seen, we gave them bitches twos and threes and fours because they're
Mm-hmm.
playing like twos and threes and fours.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Summer Tanisha or Herman are playing at that level, but they're still getting shut out of the power structure.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of an accurate reason why, and you can't tell me one. So that's how I feel about it.
Hey, amen. Let's quickly, Melina. How do you feel like Melina as a player overall? Because we've seen her entire game. What would you give
Um,
Melina?
you said I can give us a decimal zero?
You can give a zero. Lowest is a
Oh,
zero.
0.5. A 0.5.
I'll give Melina a.
I'm sorry, she didn't even get a one. That girl didn't want to talk to nobody. How you not want to talk to nobody? And they confused why you going home first. Girl,
I'll give Melina.
no.
I'm gonna give Melina a 2. Let me tell you why.
Girl, a two.
I'm gonna give her a 2. No, I'm gonna give her 1.5 because
A 1.5.
yeah, because I feel like if the right person would have won HOH, she she wouldn't have went home.
Still wouldn't talk to nobody.
She wouldn't talk to nobody, but she wouldn't went home. Josh not talking to nobody.
And then Marty probably puts her up.
That's fine.
I
1.5.
doubt she talks to Marty.
1.5. I think. But for example, if for example, someone with a 0, they actively was Jay. Jay is a 1.
You're right.
If Jay is a 1,
You're right. You're right.
Melina's
I'll give her a
1.5.
one. I'll give her a one. I'll give her a one as well. Take her
Okay,
down 0.4. She's a one. She's a one. You're right. You're right.
that's just how
She
I
didn't
feel.
actively do it. It was the first eviction. She was likely nominated what, day 2? So you're right.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna do it to her like that. But she definitely ain't no. I don't. The 0.5. That's a reach.
Okay, so now guys,
Yeah.
we have all of our rankings. We have our averages. I'm going to do something on Excel and put it in order so
We're doing our
that
secrets.
so that please so that on the left we're gonna have our highest rated person, and on the I did it backwards. And on the right, we're gonna have our lowest rated person minus Melina. Melina's just gonna stay at the bottom. Okay, boom.
Yeah.
So here we go. Number 1, the best player in the house this week, we have Kyle. Kyle's at the top. He's a 7. We have Gino second and Herman third. Gino and Herman are actually tied. They both have 6.25, but the rating put Gino first. It's giving.
Maybe he's in the alliance
It's
too.
giving share. So, anyways, so Kyle is 1, Gino is 2, Herman is 3, Helena is the 4th. I think this is making sense. And then Marty is fifth, is in 5th place. I think that makes sense. Summer is 6th. Okay. Jaycee Lynn is after Summer. And then she's tied with Kevin, who's after Jaycee Lynn. Then Tanisha's under that. Moose is under that. Josh is under that. And then now we're at the last 4. Stephanie, then Jess, then Betty, then Jay. I think this makes sense.
I think they did really well. Up until Summer, I was like, ooh, that Summer
Mm-hmm.
Tanisha area is like, ooh, maybe. But the thing is, I think they're in limbo. All of them in that area.
Yes.
Before the last 4, that Summer, before the last 4 are in that limbo area where they could go home next week.
Yes.
They can make it to the jury and get all this
Yes.
in. It just depends
And I do think Summer's the safest of that few. It's basically, according to this, Jaycee Lynn and Summer are like the least likely, and then Moose and Josh are the most likely. And I think that makes sense.
And that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
And then Tanisha and Kevin are in the middle between that. I think this makes sense. It's a cute little rating. Yes. Yay! Now we can take a look at our draft team so far.
As you can see, I don't know why Philip not staying in Kyle because it looked like he was using the same blueprint to pick his draft.
As you can see, I lost someone because I lost Melina. And Lee is most likely damn near guaranteed losing Jay. Oh, Betty's nominated anyways. So you're either losing Jay or Betty. Baby, looking at Lee team, who gonna win? I guess he got Kyle and he got Gino.
And I got Gino,
And you
baby.
got Summer. And you got Herman. You have the top three because the top three on our ranking was Kyle, Gino, and Herman. You have all.
I got a star-studded team. Only flops I really got.
You
Not
have,
flops. Betty a flop. I'm sorry. I love you, baby. You
mm-hmm.
a flop. It's Betty. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head because I got a picture.
Moose
Kevin
and
and Moose.
Jay and Kevin.
I got some hard hitters. I got
Yes,
some hard hitters.
you do. I don't have no hard hitters. I'm kind of scared because the only person on my team who can win is Helena.
That's gonna be a
It's
tough
Helena,
ass one.
Tynesha, and Jaycee Lynn, and Marty. That's gonna be a hard pass. Stephanie finna
No,
go home.
I think Marty has another chance than Helena at this point. At this point, I
Okay.
think
On our ratings, I think him and Helena was right there by what and what.
I'm gonna beat you though. Like I'm gonna beat you.
Yeah, you probably are.
So 18-10.
Well,
That's like
hopefully Betty went HOH and I'm calling Gino. So
okay.
that's not it.
Another one would just win. Another one would just win.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear
I
it.
told you to come. I told you to come with your A game,
Uh
and
huh.
you started picking all the Caucasians.
Hmm.
Was that your A game?
That was my B game.
Mm.
That was my B game. So,
Mm.
with that
Oh,
being
I done
said,
dropped the camera.
you done dropped the camera. This was week one. This was really fun. This is cute little week one.
Okay.
Um,
I
if
the YouTube video because I don't see any of the goddamn animations. I don't know
Oh
what's going on.
yes. If you are into Survivor, check us out tomorrow. We were going to be going over the premiere, which is tonight. And if you are into BB Can 10, which I feel like you are, you should see us here every single Wednesday where we will be going over the week and how those players are doing in the game, just like we did today. Follow us on our social media. It's down here at T Reality Kingdom on Twitter and on Instagram. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.
Bye.